Let's talk about the show. We're finally here. Survivor Series 2014. Of course, this is on the WWE Network. Before we get started, we've got Fandango and Justin Gabriel. They're going to go 3.5 minutes. This match happens about 50 minutes before the pay-per-view. Meltzer would say the people weren't ready for it. It's just a normal style TV match with Fandango winning with a vertical suplex and then a twisting leg drop off the top rope. He gave it a 0.5 star. I do want to ask you about this because you and I haven't spent much time talking about this, but back in the day, especially on a pay-per-view, and I know this is still the undercard before the pay-per-view officially starts, the idea of having a 3-minute match was pretty rare. On a house show, it was almost unheard of. You guys would get a lot of time, back in the heyday of the 80s. What kind of story can a guy like Fandango and a guy like Justin Gabriel tell in 3 minutes and 25 seconds?
None. Takes longer than that to walk to the ring and back.
Right.
To be honest with you, not a lot of thought or care went into, at that particular time, went into the pre-show, and that's everybody's fault. You can't point fingers at anybody. That's everybody's fault. At some point, somebody should have stopped and said, hey, it was more placeholders and something to give the audience who were getting restless because they were waiting on the big show to get started. A lot more thought should have been put into it, and nobody should ever have a match that short. Fandango, very good performer. The other gentleman, who was it he was in the match with?
Justin Gabriel.
Justin Gabriel, same thing. These guys could have went out there for 10 or 12 minutes, tore the house down. Even if they didn't have a story, they could have created one if they would have had enough time. I think on that same show, you had Cesaro and Swagger, which was, I think, the next match, correct? On that pre-show?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
You can't tell me those two couldn't have tore it up if you'd have gave them 15, 17 minutes. You have to be able to go out. If you're going to tell a story, you got to have time. Time is your most critical asset. It's as important as having an angle on TV or a story behind it. You can go out and create your own story, bell to bell. That's what you have to do a lot of nights. Every night you're not in an angle match. Most nights you're not in an angle match. So you have to go out and create something, but you got to have some time to do it. And that's two guys, because the fans to this day love Cesaro. Swagger was the world champion, for God's sakes. You're telling me that you can't take a guy that you thought enough of at that time to make him the world champion? You can't give him enough time to go out and have a match with a guy like Cesaro, who is a Swedish Superman in every way, in every sense of the word. Should be ashamed of yourself if you couldn't.
Let me